Hello, and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders, episode 133 for Tuesday, January 27th, 2015. My name is Rainbow Plasma. I am the exasperated host and organizer of this podcast. Name joined by...
My name's Burn-to-One, and I'm exasperated and special guests and stuff. And that's what I do. And this week I'm editing, too, because I'm the editor.
Right, I'm FlutterGuy317. I'm the media manager, and I have to work with these guys.
You have to work with these guys!
And I'm at my Spark. I'm the one that causes the problems. I'm the one that exasperates these two. Three.
Well, you know what? I have to respect your honesty at the very least. And, you know, I do really have to respect that, so.
But we love you for it.
Good on you, Joel.
Yay.
Good on you. So yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Nice to be back, you know.
I'm so done already, so I mean, I don't even have that much to say. I was going to talk about my internet, so long story short, over the last 3 weeks since I moved in, my internet's been butts.
Mm-hmm. Not the good kind of butts either. The bad kind of butts.
So after changing ISPs and getting a bunch of stuff and finally getting like a 150 length of cable to get a wired connection up to my room, my internet's no longer butts, so that's great.
Nice.
Again, I'm probably going to cut out once or twice.
Bad butts, not good butts.
Well, it was bad butts, now it's good butts.
Yes.
Mine's still bad butts.
I feel like the clarification, if you have to clarify what kind of butts, it kind of defeats the purpose of using the word butts.
Why are we comparing internet to butts? Congrats on the sexy internet butts, dude. Congrats.
Burned.
The sexy butts internet. It's great.
Don't you talk. You know I've figured out your secret.
Yeah, apparently, he's discovered my deepest regret that I'm actually a real-life horse, and that's why I joke about it so much.
He is, in fact, a horse.
It's true. Also,
You've been lying to us this entire time, Burned. We thought
my only ever
weren't a
dream in
horse.
life was to become a human.
But you
That's all I've
can't
ever
because you're a
wanted.
filthy horse.
That's why I've attended your classes and your colleges and looked at your brony artwork to become one of you.
Reminded you of the fatherland.
Accept me in all of my horsey greatness.
Can you whinny for me just once? Wow, that was sensual. All right. Speaking of
Enjoy
sensual,
that.
That's not even a proper winning.
speaking of sensual, Joel, you had something to say about cats.
Yeah, they're butts. My parents are away at the moment, so I'm feeding the cats. I went round there this morning, fed the cats, walked in the door, instantly stepped in cat vomit.
oh no!
Straight
gotta
away,
love
just
cats,
right
dude.
there at the front door. Stepped in cat vomit.
Nice.
Cats are the best.
So, yeah, thanks for that. I thought that cat liked me, but hey.
Well, I mean, the cat didn't. The cat didn't. Like, it
Nah,
wasn't
dude.
planning this.
No,
That
I'm
cat,
sure
that
it
cat
did, yeah.
planned that. He was just like, I'm gonna puke right
that
here.
cat is vindictive. It's been having issues, so it gets locked out of the house sometimes, like on purpose, because it throws up and poops everywhere.
Because it sucks.
It threw up underneath where my mum normally sits, so it stunk outside.
Can we? No, we're done. We're done here. Can you talk about your new avatar, please?
Yeah,
How
I
do we
changed
go
it. It's
from-
cute. It's better than the other one because
Ugh,
it's actually
my
accurate.
goodness.
The other one I
But it
did
doesn't
like
have yellow swag.
2 years ago before we started doing this, so it was like old and stuff. Now it looks better.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even seen it yet. I didn't even see the Dropbox link. Hold on, let me look at this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, like, it's kind of
Neat.
unfair because the rest of us don't have new avatars, so now all of us look like crap compared to you.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah,
told you
man.
for like the last 3 weeks I'm going to do it, so you've had a chance.
It's true.
Yeah, this
it's
is true.
Did Silver sketch
We've
this
just
for
been
you?
lazy.
This is from my reference sheet, so yes.
That's what I thought. All right.
I was gonna draw my own, but I couldn't be bothered.
All right. Who wrote drawing horses in the Google Doc?
It's actually supposed to be drawing self-portraits.
Oh, I see. You've been drawing yourself. I see.
Yes, I actually have. I've been drawing my OC.
I did see that, and it
and,
looked awful.
oh man, that's not very nice.
Wow.
I'm a beautiful horse.
The vinegar comes
See,
out.
what
Jeez.
every show Joel has to say something to put me down. I don't know
Yeah, I do.
what's with you, but every single show you just gotta
Burned.
like
Because
gotta be
because
mean
you're
to me.
Burned. Oh my gosh! Wait, no, I figured it out. Burn's not actually a horse; he's a cat.
No. Burned. You know, for a horse, you're a really nice guy. For
Thanks,
a horse.
man.
For
Wow.
That touches me right in the hoobs.
Wait, did somebody make you? I'm on your page. Did somebody make you fan art of you saying Dave and Otaku OTP?
Yeah.
What?
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 Yeah.
What?
That's not fair.
What are you talking about?
There's this fan art thing.
What's fan art thing? Link.
This one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Zach Productions made that for me.
Why did you get? I
awesome.
spent an entire episode making a butt out of myself over Otaku AP and Dave Pony.
Man, sometimes my fans just like to draw me creepily, like stalking people in bushes. Like we can't all be awesome.
It's because I'm not a horse, is it? This is
Life
horse
dope,
racism.
and I get dope art.
This is horse racism.
Anyway, as I was saying, the reason I put the stupid drawing
you put it in
horses
there.
thing, yes, I put it in the guy. I put it in the stupid Google document. It's me. It was me the whole time. Anyway, I put it there because I've been trying to draw more, and I've been posting about it on Twitter. I haven't even been uploading it to like DeviantArt or wherever the heck people follow me. I've been tweeting about it because apparently that's what you do when you sketch in class, and it's the easiest way to upload things from your phone.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's just what I just wanted to say. And I've been drawing my OC and stuff, and
You should try
proud
using
of it.
colors, Bernd.
Proud of it.
I'm here that they're popular.
I can't afford crayons.
What's your Twitter, Burned?
My Twitter is at
A
BurnCAC.
legithorse.twitter.com.
I keep buying crayons, but I also keep eating them.
If people out there would like to see the silly little sketches that I make while I'm in class, you can follow me on Twitter, which you can find on my DeviantArt. I love you too.
Bernd, you do a Gerd Gerb.
Thank you.
Ermagerd.
You're welcome.
Gergerb.
Screw you, Joel.
Wow.
Whoa.
Thanks, Bernd.
Well,
The
you kind of deserve
vinegar-
that, I guess.
Just so you're aware, a legit horse is available on Twitter, so you can take it.
Oh
won't-
man, I should
it
do
won't
that.
be
Dude, you
after
should totally
this.
do that.
Like, man, just like
After
keep
this
tweeting
airs.
about like, man, these oats are dope.
What was that Twitter account? Horse ebooks. Do you remember
Horse
that?
ebooks? What? No.
No.
There was. You've never heard of Horse ebooks Twitter?
No.
Oh my goodness! So
unfortunately
there's
not.
this Twitter account. Oh god. Basically, what happened was, there was a bunch of Twitter accounts that like an ebook website set up, and it was supposed to have like quotes from certain books. So to like promote their book service. So one of them that got set up was called Horse Ebooks, but somewhere along the way, the like algorithm got like all messed up or something, and it just started quoting random pages from every single like ebook that was out there. So like
What?
all of its none of its tweets make sense. So like I just went and it stopped in like 2013, but like I just went to it and one of them is like don't stubbornly. It's like, oh, okay. Anyways, it's great. You should definitely look it up. Twitter.com/horse_ebooks.
Are you
Ebooks
sure it
is all
didn't
one
like
word.
gain sentience and like try and solve captchas?
Oh,
or something?
there has been much debate over horse ebooks, but it's been dead for about a year and a half. But
Is
my
there like
favorite
a-
Twitter account was the T1000 Twitter account, where it was going around to all the Sarahs on Twitter. Sarah Connor. Sarah Connor. It was great.
that's funny.
Ooh. Can we talk about like personal fan art that we got, or do we just talk about like that we all got?
Is it gonna make the rest of us jealous and hate you?
Yes.
Then okay. Go
All
for
right.
it.
So I
That
know I
wasn't
wanted
where
to
I was
extend a
going with
thank
that.
you to Pepuni, I think is how you say it. Peponi. But
Pepuni?
she drew like this little cute version of my OC, and so I want to thank her for it. And also point out that she's going to be at BronyCon this year, so we can all meet her if we go.
I'll go tell her that she makes me sad for not drawing me, and the rest of the people too, I guess. So there you go.
I'm okay.
There,
I would
thanks.
love an OC.
Yeah, no, it looks really
Appreciate
good.
that.
Yeah.
Piponi looks. She does really good art, and you got something from her, didn't you, Joel?
I think so, yeah. I'm trying
Yeah,
to figure
yeah.
that out.
You and Silver got your icons, your DeviantArt
Yeah.
icons from her.
That's what I thought that was her, yeah.
Yeah.
No, hang on. Ours was Senshi,
wait.
I think.
Can confirm.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because they look like the exact same.
Yeah, no, that was Senshi.
Interesting. Well, I completely lied, and with that lie, we will move on to the art section.
Greetings from Belgium.
That's not. Wait, Piponi watches me? Oh, that's nice. I'm sorry I ever said anything bad about you.
You're okay. You're all right.
You're right. She has made up for
But-
herself by watching me.
But seriously, you should totally draw.
I should just start calling out artists on like my DeviantArt like journals page and like see if they like follow me and just be like, yeah, hey. Okay.
I see you like horses. I also like horses.
I also like horses. Let's talk.
Burned, for you are a horse.
I know.
Don't you feel so free now that you can talk
just
about
become a thing.
Yeah. Anyhow, art section. Joel, you're first.
Oh, I am
true.
too, aren't I?
We're going backwards this week.
Whoa.
Well, I was confused there for a sec. Alright, so mine is first. I choose this one called Void Stream by Gashi Boka.
That sounds Australian, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, when you put an accent on it, that sounds British.
I think I clipped a bit there. Sorry.
Go on, Joel.
You done? Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So I chose this one. It's called Void Stream. It's Celestia and Luna, and there's a whole flippy yin-yang type thing going on where their hair sort of blends into the background and becomes the foreground, and they attach to each other, and it's awesome.
Neato.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I like the way that, at first I didn't really realize what was going on. Because it's really easy to see because Celestia's standing upright, right? Like, you can see that her mane is kind of spilling out, and you can see that her tail is kind of cutting into the starry background. But then you kind of look over to the right, and you realize that Luna's is doing the same thing, like you said, like a yin-yang kind of thing.
I believe the technical art term is flippy doodad.
Flippy, floppy, whippy woppy.
Also, 1920 by 1080.
Nobody make a Doctor Who reference, please.
I don't know what that is.
I was going to, but then I just restrained myself completely.
Cool. I don't know what it is.
All right, good.
I like this. I like the what?
I was just to start all off art like that. Just
go on.
No,
Yeah,
go on.
I like this. No, I like how she did the background and how it's not just like kind of a void. Like especially if you look at Luna, for instance, like you could consider the blue/black star, starry night sky kind of a void area, but she does have these kind of like little wisps of like these light blue clouds that kind of give it sort of a formation of hair.
Yeah, and it breaks up the monotony.
Yeah. I've done that. She's done that with Celestia's hair as well. There's like bits of pink and yellows and
yeah, I
greens
mean,
and
it's a
stuff, which is
little bit
Celestia's
easier
hair.
with hers, obviously, because of the multicolored nature of her mane, but
Yeah.
both of them have really cool and unique ones. And I think the most interesting thing is as my eyes travel around, things keep switching from foreground to background to foreground to background, because it's kind of one of those impossible scenarios, like where it's like an infinite stair loop,
One of the comments, like the top comment there, sums it up beautifully. This is amazing, but why is Luna upside down? And wait, why does she have no tail? And what's up with Celestia's mane anyway? Oh.
Let me just flip this piece upside down. That's what we gotta do. I guess I'm editing. Flip this guy on its head.
Future burned. Flip. Blizz.
Note to future horse self.
Also pick up eggs.
Milk. We need milk.
Anyway, I like the piece too. I think it's also very pretty. I too enjoy this piece. Something that I think maybe detracts a bit from me is when I notice specifically that there's like some kind of like filter or light, what almost looks like a lens flare for me, put over this piece. I tend to not enjoy that. I think that's a preference thing, just because I feel like a lot of times it covers up what I consider to be true color, or maybe better color, or certain aspects. Like there's sort of like a really bright spot in the middle, and I can almost tell like it's a layer that's kind of like put on top of everything. You know what I mean? And so like I'm looking at how it's made rather than in the medium itself rather than the piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's like maybe like a personal thing, personal critique. I don't think it makes it bad by any means. Blah, 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 blah. The other thing that I do notice that is kind of interesting is Celestia, the bottom half of her is in dark, and then Luna, I guess what is also the bottom half of her, but it's not
upside down,
the thing, is like in light. So it's like their manes are lightening or darkening each other, is kind of how I've made sense to it. Because the bottom of Celestia was really dark. And I was like, oh, like that seems kind of odd. And so I was trying to like make sense of it, but it looks like Luna's mane is making her dark, like she's receding into it. And then Luna is being lit up by Celestia's mane because she doesn't have that same kind of shading. It's like opposite.
Right, yeah.
So there's an interesting like duality going on there that I thought was pretty cool.
I do agree that there's some sort of like almost lens flare effect in the middle, and again, like I like this piece, like but I also enjoy critiquing pieces, and there's something that just kind of takes away from it. It's like I want to be looking at the circular nature of the piece, but the spiral or the circle becomes a spiral, and you get locked into the middle, and so, that can be good, but it's not something that is super appealing to me.
What I actually think's happening, and what I think detracts from it for me, is that it's a layer of color overlapping. It is on top of everything else, and so it actually cuts out from the stuff beneath it because it's actually covering it up. So like the colors in Luna, it actually makes it a little bit harder to see, and then like in the middle there, it's obviously like really bright, so it's like making everything a little harder to see. And as almost a recommendation, what a lot of artists like to do is when they put a color over something, it will just overlap it if you just leave it as a normal layer. But if you change the layer blending mode in whatever program you're using to something like multiply or overlay, or you can play luminosity or whatever kind of basically blending mode that you have access to, it will take that color, and instead of overlapping and covering up everything else, it will then blend into the colors beneath it, and it can create a lot of interesting effects where it actually starts changing the color quality of the layers beneath it rather than just covering them up, which is what I don't like to see. So I feel like if you just if the artist would just like switch a blending mode on the top layer of this piece, it would instantly be like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. That's like personal critique.
Yeah. So there was a color tutorial that I saw recently that I thought was really cool, and it was describing how you take a bunch of colors and you turn it into a palette. And they described, like, let's say you have like a green, a purple, and a yellow, right? And you want to make that into a palette, but you put those colors together and it's kind of like, you know? So in order to make those a nice looking palette, add a common color to each one of them to shift them slightly. So in the example, they took the green and the yellow and the purple, and they added a little tinge of orange into all of them. And it kind of helped them all blend together and fit together because they all had this new common element of that little orange addition. And I think in pieces like these where there's such drastic color differences and like you've got color and value differences, I think this piece could use a little bit more of that kind of blending aspect. I'm not sure if it's exactly color blending, but it's a bit jarring.
Yeah, just some kind of unity in the color palette choice, basically.
Yes. And I know, some people might say like, well, what do you mean, like, change the color palettes? But this is what the characters' colors are,
Yeah.
And like I understand that, but that doesn't mean, blending colors together doesn't mean you get rid of the original colors. It just means that you find a way to make the colors work together by adding a common element to it. And the other thing that I know people say is, well, it's supposed to be jarring. It's supposed to be like a juxtaposition between the two because they're two very different ones. And I think there is a big difference between jarring and juxtaposition, and that they don't necessarily have to go together.
You can still have a unified feeling to, like, colors that seem opposite. I mean, that's the concept of complements, like they are opposite colors. And so, like, you can definitely have a kind of, like, harmony or balance between those, you know what I mean? And that's the whole, like, concept of this yin and yang. It's the balance between the two. And so, like, just how pastel the colors in Celestia's main art compared to, like, the big, bright, saturated royal blue of Luna.
Right.
And, like, violets and darks in there. There is kind of that jarringness that you mentioned. So,
I've been critiquing this piece a lot. Well, I want to mention what I think is really cool. I like the idea. I think the idea is incredibly creative. And it's a really, really cool idea. I enjoy the fact that not only is there a difference in color and value, but there's a difference in shapes as well, because Luna's hair is very liquidy and bubbly, whereas Celestia's hair is much more like fiery, and it's got those like licks of fire coming out.
Yeah,
obviously that's related to like moon lunar tides and sun flare.
Oh yeah, sure, totally. Yeah, it's totally related to that.
Well, shut up, okay?
I think it's just a good way to differentiate between sort of ponies, princesses, hair.
Yeah, Capone
hairs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did I say Capones?
Yeah, you did.
Capones.
I like me the Capones.
Of course you do. You're a horse. I mean, a horse.
Horse.
Cohorse.
Of course.
Co-host horse.
Is it Capone anything like a jabroni?
What's a jabroni?
Do jabronis watch
We're all
Capones?
jabronis.
Riding on Zambonis.
Nice.
No ice. If there's no ice, all you need is Zamboni.
I'm done with this.
Wow, that was good. That was a good little transition to the next piece.
So,
Is it really
wait. I have one thing to say about this piece.
Yeah, go
Before
on.
we move on. I like how kind of almost flat the piece looks right where their manes meet their heads. It's like the color in the mane is kind of very consistent there. It's not really 3D or anything like that. So it's almost like the face kind of pops out from the mane, but the mane itself is very flat right in that area. It's a pretty neat effect. I don't know. I like that.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Beautiful piece overall. Like, how do you say the name? Gashabroka? I forget. Regardless,
Gashabroka.
I really like this artist too. There's a lot of pieces in their gallery that are really cute. Like, there's a Fluttershy one that's like painted, that's awesome. Another Twilight one.
Speaking of Fluttershy and artists that we like,
What?
the next piece.
No, it's not. No. Wait, never mind. I'm dumb. I had my pieces out of order.
You ruined the transition.
I apologize.
Wow.
I apologize. I am going to do a wonderful puzzle of Sudoku to make up for it.
Just do another Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
Sitting in the corner.
Go on. I'm sorry.
All right. So the piece that I chose for today is called Shy Night by Otaku AP. And the only reason that I chose this piece, apart from it being absolutely amazing, is because on our Cutie Art Crusaders DeviantArt account, Otaku made a comment that said, "Here, feature this in an episode so I can feel better about spending at least 36 hours making it."
Well, you've heard it here first, folks. We can be
All you gotta
bribed.
do is ask.
And you don't even need to give us anything. You literally just need to say, feature this.
All you gotta do is ask, and it'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. That's very not true.
But no, in all seriousness, I really enjoy this piece. I love Otaku's work. We've had his stuff on the show a lot. He's done a lot of fan art of us. And I don't know, I love his armor pieces. And it's really interesting looking at kind of his evolution from when he drew us as armored ponies to this piece, where the armor is a lot more crisp, a lot more detailed. There's better lighting on it. And
Even the original of this piece.
yeah.
Like, that's the real step up.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a redraw of the original.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, he does armor really, really well. Like, I think it's one of his strong suits. Like, that's a bit kind of a specific strong suit, but it is something that he does really, really well. And I really enjoy the look of his armor. And it's always, it always feels so real. Like it looks 3D, but not in like that's a 3D model kind of way. It's very well done, and I think that it's definitely one of his strong suits.
Mm-hmm.
The illusion
even
of three-dimensionality.
Of armor? Strong suits of armor?
But even if you look into the details in this piece of armor that he drew, like all the lines that are in it, and just kind of like the seams of the armor, it's just really fantastic. And I agree, he has a style that some parts look very 3D, but it's not pushing it. It's still very cartoony, very painted.
I think I like the part where the spear is just straight up going through Fluttershy's torso.
Yep.
I like that part.
Totally.
I think he meant to lean the spear on Fluttershy's shoulder, but you can see the edge of her shoulder armor there, so it would straight up just be going
Can you?
through her shoulder.
No.
No.
Yeah, you can.
It's totally fine.
No, I will.
I think
take a
you forget
picture
how
for you.
horse limbs burned.
I'm
Just
surprised
being
because you
horse
are
yourself.
one.
No.
Yeah, there's a...
She's at a 3/4 angle, and if she were to put her other leg down, that spear is straight up just going through her shoulder joint.
It's
If you look between her
front.
hoof that's raised, what would be her wrist, and then her chest plate, you can see the edge of her shoulder armor right there. So for the spear to be going directly between the joint where her shoulder armor would be joining her torso, it is just going through her shoulder socket.
I think it's a
Maybe-
bit low, but
maybe
I don't think
she's
it's as
into-
extreme as you're making it out to be.
It's quite extreme. She should be bleeding everywhere. I'm pretty sure she'd be
Wow.
passed out from blood loss.
Wow.
Maybe she's just really into large piercings. Did you ever consider that, Vern? I mean, come on.
I've always wanted a giant spear sticking out of my bottom lip. You know what I mean?
Let's not go down this path, please.
No.
So the grass is nice.
Yeah. Body modifications aside, there's a lot of awesome painting stuff going on here.
Yeah.
I really like how, like you mentioned, the grass. It's kind of swooping away from Fluttershy.
She's going Super Saiyan.
Yeah, which even though like the motion is kind of outwards, it kind of directs your attention inwards because it's almost framing her in a way.
Right.
Yeah, I see that. Kind of brings you back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a mustache motion.
What?
Excuse me?
Are you playing with your mustache again?
No. I actually shaved that off. I don't have it anymore.
What?
Yeah, I shaved it about 2 days ago.
When were you? Oh.
I mean, this doesn't affect me because I've always known he's a horse, so he never had a mustache in the first place. It's all a lie.
Wish I had a horse with a mustache.
So, I am going to list two things. One of them I think is a positive, and one of them I wanna debate about.
Okay.
So the first thing is, I think that pony ear armor is adorable, and that's not for debate. I think I've never seen someone do that before, and I think that's cool, and it's also adorable. Point number 2, Otaku AP has really slathered on the shading in this last couple of pieces, and I'm not sure I'm following it fully. Thoughts?
I'm definitely not. I think he's gone way too far with it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not good. It's definitely good, but I think it's just too much.
Okay.
I've been of the opinion for the last little while that he's been doing stuff. It's just been too dark. It's too dark for me.
Yeah, I think he's been experimenting a lot with shading, and he's been doing a lot. He's been doing a lot of experimenting. Like he had that rainbow colors one a little while ago. And he's been doing some funky concepts with arms, as Bernd aptly demonstrated for us.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple of pieces where I find that there might be too much value shift.
See, I really like grungy, dark pieces. Like, if it's gonna be okay, I like bright, happy pieces too. But like, when it comes down to it, like dystopian kind of pieces that are dark and grungy are kind of my forte. Not my forte, but like what I really enjoy looking at. So like stuff like this, I actually really like, because it does kind of push the extremes. But I don't know, something about it appeals to me.
I do like it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I really like all of the art pieces he's been putting out. It was just something that I noticed where, he like years ago, Otaku AP didn't do shading. Like when he first started, he wasn't really working on that.
And then he started
he tried to introduce like shading over time, and it's just interesting because I feel like this piece is kind of like taken it to an extreme, which is an interesting concept, and I wonder if it's on purpose or not, and I'd be curious to know why.
I've been saying that the last couple of times we've featured his stuff, that it's just been getting darker and darker. Like, he's been using black and really, really dark versions of the colors.
There are certain things, like you mentioned it on his Heartswarming Eve one. I don't agree there, because I think that totally fit the mood. Like, I think there's a difference between doing that like for specific situations, like when you have that kind of harsh lighting scenario. For example, in this scene, to me, I don't really see why it would be a harsh lighting.
Okay, so my 2 cents is on the Heartswarming Eve one. I was hesitant to agree with Pinky Dash because the colors in the shading weren't actually black, at least not on my monitor. Although they were dark. So
right.
He asked me for a critique once, and I told him that I didn't like how he shaded in white and black, because it's a very common thing for novice artists, people starting out, to do, is to shade with a white on a low opacity and to shade with a black on a low opacity, and that is very bad. You don't want to do that. You want to avoid that. So in this piece, I would say, going back to Sky Knight, it is shaded in basically kind of like a white and black, like colors of value, and things basically just shift on that lightness scale. They don't really shift on a kind of hue scale, if that makes sense.
Right.
So legitimately in Photoshop, they're sliding up and down, the dark and bright, not not changing in colors.
I went into Photoshop and checked that out, and that's what it is.
So that's what's happening. So there's a huge shifts in the value, and I like that. I actually like this piece, and I like how it's shaded. I actually really enjoy it because something my teachers used to say when I was taking classes in college was that a lot of artists are scared to put things into a very like drastic light because it's hard. It's not easy to do. So it's refreshing to actually see like Otaku do something like this because it's extremely difficult to tackle. And I think like we've all mentioned, he's done it really well. So I like, specifically, I'm looking just at Fluttershy and like this bright light in her armor. And so like there is a lot of things that I don't like the really bright white silhouettes on her. I feel like they could be done differently or with color. But the fact that it is such an extreme shift in value on her and such a drastic light source, I do really like that because it does show a lot of skill. But at the same point, I don't like the fact that it's done in just kind of like white and black over the top of Fluttershy. Does it make sense?
Okay, fair enough.
Like
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
But that would be my critique for it.
I just had one other thing to bring up on that. If you look at that Rainbow Dash one that we brought up just a couple of minutes ago, the really colourful one, the shading on that is perfect. It's fantastic. It's a completely different colour in her wings, but in the tail it's a black, but it's not a really harsh black. It's almost like a dulled down version of
The one with the
colours
arms,
underneath it.
you mean?
No, with the bright colours going everywhere, the wallpaper version.
Oh, okay.
The shading in her tail, that's just dark purple with black outlines.
It's purple.
Yeah, and the one on her wings. It's and like the rest of her body, it's great. I like that one. That one's great.
Right.
But it's also a completely different art style. Like it's quite the stretch to compare that to something like Sky Knight.
Yeah. So,
But I was saying with colours.
one last thing.
No colors.
One last thought on this, because we do need to move on soon, or like now. But I would highly encourage people. You know, we're obviously in a critiquing mood today, but like I would highly encourage people, go find this piece, go zoom in on this piece, and be blown away by the level of detail that Otaku AP puts into Fluttershy. Her face and the armor and her wings and everything, it is really, really, really good looking. So please don't mistake our critiques for saying that we don't like it or we think it's bad. We're just obviously in a critiquey mood, and there's stuff that we want to talk about, but this piece is quite good.
Like he didn't even use a texture for the chainmail. He painted that.
Yeah, he painted that, and the armor is done so well, and like each little bit reflects the light in such a perfect way.
I like the light coming through her face piece on her head.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's really, really, really well done. So there we go. All right.
I feel like her face is a little wonky.
We need to move on to the next piece, which is Burn's piece.
Which I have not opened up
what's
yet.
good?
Yeah, for some reason Burn was like, "Don't open this," so I immediately opened it. He's trying to make it
like it'd be fun
something.
if it was like surprisey. I don't know.
Should we open it now?
Oh yeah, go for it. So the piece that I chose is called Commander Dash by Legacy 350.
Commander
It's
Dash.
not by you.
Yeah, in
Blink.
the document it shows it's by me.
Yeah.
And there's like another wallpaper version of this with like super epic Twilight in the background, so you should really go check it out. But I really like this piece. There was the Rainbow Dash and Rainbow Dash's armor I thought was fan-friggin-tabulous.
Yeah. So
Anywho, yeah, go ahead.
I wanna come at this from a different angle.
Oh yeah?
So I think most people, we just talked about armor a lot, right? So I want to not talk about the armor, and I want to talk about the colors in this piece, because I really like how this piece has like incredibly saturated colors, and yet it's not, again, like it's not like in your face about it, you know? It's something that not a lot of people do, which is they have like a darker saturation, but they mix it in with like slightly less saturated colors, and I just really love it. I like it when, you know, I think oftentimes people portray Rainbow Dash as a very light blue because that's what she is in the show, you know, but I like it when people play around with the colors of the characters and don't give them just the exact same colors as what they have in the show, and this is a great example of that, where she's much darker blue. She's much closer to the blue in her mane.
Well, going off that, with like her mane and her tail, the back parts at least, not the part that's on the top of her head, is very, very subdued, very like dark value. It's, I mean, it still may be fairly saturated, but like it's very like not standoutish.
Yeah.
It's
What I like about her like back mane and then her tail is that it's like not illustrated. it's like there's a lot of. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yes. Let him say it. Let him say it. Let him say
finish it.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I like the way that Legacy 350 has done with the way that they've done focus in this. Like, the top part of her head, face, all that is incredibly detailed and shiny and all of that. And then you go to the mane that's behind her head and that wing and then her tail. And as you go further back, it's less detailed, less bright. And then to all the way back where it's just what he's done at the end of the tail is just a flick of red paint on the paintbrush, and then he's even gone over it with an eraser or whatever. It looks really, really cool.
Even like the back part of her wing that's farthest from us, which is like if you look between her ear and that crazy like wing blade thingamajig, you notice it still looks sketchy there. Like he left parts of the sketch, underneath behind where we basically don't need to be looking. And even the armor. So we have those extremely detailed, shiny blades of like metal armor that's on our shoulder that's closest to us, and then behind that, those are just flat sheets of gray. They don't have that detail because we don't need it.
It's like that piece of Twilight that we featured at, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
That was exactly my point with that, where like pieces that have that areas that lack detail and areas that have a lot of detail are like way more interesting for me visually. Like this is like the perfect example of what I mean. Like,
yes. It is interesting though, because like the mane and the tail, the back mane and the back tail are definitely very flat, but you do still get like you said, these sketch lines, and there's even a little bit of green lighting in the back wing and armor, so it stands out at least a little bit more than the back mane and tail. But I guess that's all just kind of playing into the depth of the piece, which is really cool.
Oh, another thing, the shading in this piece too, like how the artist uses lights and darks. Like, it's a good example of what I meant as the kind of like critique towards some of Otaku's work, where there's no use of like whites and blacks. Like the light source is done in like higher value shades of those colors, and then the darks in this piece are like a dark subdued purple, Right. So if you're looking at the bottom of Rainbow Dash's legs or in the shadows of all the blades of armor. And there's also an awesome secondary light source, which I actually just saw a really cool tutorial on by an artist, where if you look on the left-hand side of all of Rainbow Dash, you'll notice there's a stark blue highlight on like her hair and her little like hoof armor thing and her ear and, her visor and face and all that. There's that really bright blue outline to add some detail to her silhouette on what is the darker portion of the piece that's outside of the spotlight. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's also really well done.
Yeah, I like the concept. The armor is really well done. This little face shield is really interesting, very futuristic.
Yeah, I love. I'm a future guy. I'm not a past guy. I'm not a high fantasy kind of guy. I like future. I like robots. I like space. And this is definitely like right up my alley,
Well, to me, the armor looks more. It does have like a medieval kind of feeling, like not quite like Otaku AP, obviously, armor in the last piece, but it is it is like metal bladed armor. Like there is some kind of like fantasy-esque kind of medieval armor thing going on there.
I suppose,
but then
she has like that at all.
She has the. But I'm saying it's like. You're wrong. It's definitely there. But it's way being like overlaid with kind of like a steampunk futuristic thing with like her suit, on her leg, where it's kind of like that neo whatever fancy technological suiting, and then obviously like the visor and stuff. But just the blades and then metal sheets to me just feels like some kind of like Final Fantasy-esque armor.
Yeah, see, I was going to originally say steampunk, but there's not enough brass in it, so I'm going to go with Final Fantasy as well.
Punk is the right word, but not steampunk.
Yeah.
Future punk, whatever you want.
Sure.
Well, like cyberpunk is a thing, but,
One other thing I wanted to point out is if you look at her back leg, the only one that you can see, you can see the cloth, like the under sort of skin for the armor, is all bunched up, and there's a whole lot of detail in that back leg there.
Yeah, I really like that bunching, and her cutie mark is a hologram too.
Yeah,
it's quite the nice touch.
And if you look at like the fabric, the actual fabric, on like her butt or on her like back hoof, there's a lot of detail in there. Unfortunately, the resolution isn't high enough that you can really zoom in and get the full detail on it, but there is a lot of detail there. It's got a great texture to it.
I'm assuming it's Kevlar.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Nah, man, it's neo-suiting stuff.
Yeah. Go on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool story, bro.
Nanocarbon material.
There you go. Nanocarbons.
Hey.
Yeah.
That is it.
Tubes.
That is it.
Yeah. So once again, like, if you look at the armor, it's really well detailed, like in the Otaku AP piece. But in this piece, it's more kind of about the decals than about like the actual engraving on the armor. Although there is some engraving on the armor as well.
Yeah,
but like if you look in
like
her shoulder pad, yeah,
Mhm.
it's really cool.
Yep. I do like the subtle engraving.
Yeah.
Also, those little wing blade thingies are pretty legit. They're like strapped to her wings to like make her wings weapons. It's kind of like a cool concept. Because, you know, some people play with the like weird phantom instrument thing where you like hold the weapon, but it's like they have hooves, they can't do that. So then some people give them like the, you know, like spikes that like strap onto their arms or whatever, and she has like the pointy bits like on her hooves, and then she's got friggin' wing swords. Like, it's cool stuff.
All right, well, we do need to move on to the next piece. I really do enjoy this, Bernd. I'm so glad you brought it up because I always am looking for new awesome Rainbow Dash pieces, and this is top quality, tippity top quality. But let's move on to the next piece. Speaking of toppity quality, my brain's gone mush, isn't it? All right, so this one is called The Full Moon by Nobin. It is a very wide piece, so I think we should tackle this in like 3 sections here. And because it's going to be hard to show on the screen, so I definitely recommend go checking it out because it's a big, wide panoramic shot. But basically what it is it shows the 3 stages. You have Nightmare Moon, and then you have her kind of transforming, which I'm assuming is her coming out of it, and then you've got Luna at the very end. Very, very emotional piece, very powerful piece, and yeah, I really enjoy it. All right, because nobody's going to talk about it apparently. I really like Nobin's facial expressions. There's been a couple of pieces that Nobin has done that I think are absolutely spectacular. There's one with Spike where he's got like a pillow on his head, and there's one with Trixie where she's looking super angry, and he just does facial expressions so well. It conveys such emotion, and it's pieces like these that really go to show you that you don't need to do cartoony over the top in order to convey really powerful emotions.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like the subtlety of his sorry.
Bloody hell.
It's really interesting the subtlety that he can use to convey these emotions, and just like, you know, small things like the shape of the eye and like the slantedness of the eye, or just like even just the angle of the face a little bit. Or like if you compare the first piece to the first Luna to the last Luna, like the face is a bit more rounder in the last piece and more square in the first piece, so it's a little bit more jagged and more rough.
Yeah. That's the thing you see a lot in cartoons. The villains have the pointier faces, and the happier, nicer people have the roundy sort of faces. And just angles mean bad usually.
What I was going to say, I was going to be like that thing that Atmo loves to talk about with the pointy things and the round things. And look at that. Talked about it.
Is that a thing you talked about?
Yeah,
I've mentioned
it all the time, since like day one.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a few times. To go off on what Fluttergirl was talking about, if you do it yourself, if you just like draw a circle and then draw a face, you know, eyes and a mouth or whatever, if you just slightly change one of those things, it changes the mood completely. So, the first Luna there, if she had big, wide, round eyes, she wouldn't look as angry and whatever she does there. If she had a closed mouth, she wouldn't look as angry as she does. It's just tiny little things like that will change it.
Expressions are fun.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about the first panel is the hair. I really, really like the hair. Like, the hair becomes, again, something expressive. Like, there's almost emotion, like, given in these crazy kind of wild organic lines that are the hair. And the hair also becomes kind of the border going into the middle portion of the piece. So it serves as not only a lot of kind of expression and detail, it also serves as a transitioning border and stuff like that.
Yeah, the use of kind of flowy borders from one picture to the other, where it's not like a comic where there's these hard cut borders, is a really cool concept. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how the lighting in this piece is really interesting because, obviously you've got Luna in 3 different pieces. How do you keep it from looking so monotonous? Well, you inject color, and you inject color within the lighting. And each 3 of these pieces have really warm lights to them, and I think that is a really cool effect because you've got a cool character in Luna, not just in personality, but also in color. And then you have this warm lighting, as well as some really, really cool in the second panel, some really amazing flowy colors used as kind of like an electrical energy surge.
The rainbow lighting.
That's one of the best parts about this piece is just like how Nobin uses these crazy lines to create kind of like this action and narrative into what's going on. So like the crazy wavy flowy hair in the first panel, and then you have that static crazy lines Atmo mentioned, and the light source kind of coming from inside, because you notice like the outside of her wing and stuff is dark, and certain areas of how her body are shaded is dark. So that electricity is what's kind of creating the light source. So it's an interesting way to put the spotlight lighting up the features of the character, and how Nobin wants is actually inside of the wing, which is a really cool touch. It's also inside of the bottom wing with that other crazy rainbow lightning thing. Also, nice touch on the rainbow lighting, like to make it all sorts of colors instead of whatever.
In the description, Nobin goes on about it. I think it's a female. Yeah, I think she goes on about it. It's the timeline here is obviously Nightmare Moon, and then the middle one is where she was being blasted by Twilight's friendship spell, and then the right is Luna. So I don't know.
So it's got a bit of that rainbow power aspect to it.
Yeah. I really like how she kind of created these shells with the wings in the second piece, especially just like basically taking a darker value for the tips that fold over, and really kind of not really silhouetting them, but just kind of filling the inside of Luna's wings with this lighter value, just to kind of give it a cavernous space feeling. It also frames the piece really, really well. I really like the center pane in this.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Oh, another thing on the transitioning, Mahauer actually brought this piece up to me. He's like, hey, dude, did you see this piece featured on the show? And something he pointed out to me, so I don't want to take all the credit for it, was the use of kind of basically blur, or what appears to be like a depth of focus effect. So when you transition between these, I guess what we'll call panels or these scenes, whenever you transition to the next one, there's a blur going on that kind of shows depth, and it helps show the transition, and it breaks up the details, and things start to become less detailed, which detracts from focus, because we tend to look at sharper details. So that use of the use of that subtle blur, and that subtle use of kind of what appears to be kind of almost a depth of focus, and then the lacking of detail also helps in this transition of scenes.
Yeah, I'd also like to point out that, so in a couple of our previous pieces, we've mentioned that if you zoom in, you can see a really, really fine level of detail with the characters and the scenes and everything like that. And what I want to point to in this piece is something different from that, but something kind of similar. If you were to zoom in this piece, I think the thing that you'd find is that every part of this piece, it never stays the same color. It makes all these subtle changes. It uses lighting in an interesting way, and it just transitions, and you've got this, if you look at Luna's hair, it's got these sweeping colors, and same with her wing, it's got these kind of like different colors on it. And I think that's really interesting, because we just mentioned how much detail there was in the actual objects within the scene in Otaku's piece and in the Commander Dash piece. But this piece is not quite the same way, because it doesn't have the same level of like grainy detail with the character, but the color is so detailed, so interesting and varied, that it really makes it seem non-monotonous, even though you've got a character which for all intents and purposes has like 2 colors and a bunch of shades of the same colors.
Going on the colors that you're talking about there, the whole sort of comic strip from left to right has like a gradient in color. So if you look at the far left with Nightmare Moon, in the background there it's just completely black, and there's the moon, it's all cold and dark. And then as you go along towards the right, the background color becomes warm, it becomes yellow, as in like it's a dawn, it's sunrise, etc., etc. So there's that over the course of the 3 sort of panels, you can see that gradient. If you zoom in, you can see it better.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I like the kind of a gradient of orange on the last panel. On, you know, what is it? Season 1 little girl Luna, or what have you. You know,
yeah,
purified Luna or whatnot. Yeah. And you still see like those little like bits of lightning kind of left over from the magic of friendship or what have you. But that the orange gradient causing that more orange, more warmer lighting than the other 3 panels, kind of, you know, warming up because it's supposed to be kind of a more cozy, I guess, scene. But she's sad. Also, the kind of like wisps of dark magic too, leaving her.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like I don't know, the middle piece kind of almost has this kind of black hole effect where it's kind of sucking in things from the 2 outer pieces. So like this dark magic from the left piece and right piece. I don't know.
Yeah, I see that like the hair is kind of going into it, and then the dark magic from the right is going into it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's so circular, there's so much going on, and it's so bright. It's also the most saturated portion of probably the whole piece. Also, we were talking about color palettes earlier. I really liked the use of green in the center scene. So like all the colors seem to work together. They're really harmonious. Yep. There's tons of use of value. Like there's really dark portions of the piece, like in between the scenes, and then there's really bright portions, and like all that's done really, really well. And there's like this crazy use of green in the shadows in between, like the features and limbs and stuff, and it still goes really well with like the other colors. Yeah, it's a green and orange and blue, and oh my.
This really is. This is a very complete piece, and it is something that I think Nobin will be featuring for a while because it's so well done and it's so polished and finished, and it really, you know, she or he or whatever should be very proud of this piece because it stands out to me as one of the better pieces that we featured in the entirety of our show.
So just notice that silhouette of Violet on like the outside of Nightmare Moon's hair, like that's awesome, and it really like for some reason it really harmonies with me with the orange as well. So like orange on the right hand side harmonies. I think that's
yes,
harmonizes, and then and like the violet. I don't know.
I think you're trying to say harmonizes and resonates.
There's like each it's a new word. It's like blorange. Anywho, but yeah, it's like each like scene has its own like dominant color, like that violet and in Nightmare Moon's hair, and then that really bright blue in kind of like the lighting and stuff going on in the center one, and then that warm orange on the right one. It's just cool. It's good stuff.
Very cool.
Right, I'm done.
So if you want to go see more Luna, you can take a look at this piece,
Definitely
or you can check out last week's episode of CAC.
Totally Luna. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're going to be in 1080p though. Haha.
If you like Luna, go to DeviantArt and try not to trip over all of the Luna pieces.
Try not to drown.
Yeah. I heard that when you sign up for a DeviantArt account, you get a free Luna piece.
Really?
No.
Oh.
But basically, because if you'll stumble across it soon enough.
I hear Darkflame is giving out free Lunas, and he has since like 2012.
Really?
Dude. How many Lunas does he give?
Too many.
All right, question.
There's never too many.
Go
Question.
Okay, so we have a singular question this week. It is, if you were a butt, how would you express your buttiness to the great butt overlord sent in by the Butt Lord?
If I may. If I may.
Appease the Butt Lord.
No, I wanted to...
You may. Go on.
I don't want to speak on behalf of everybody here, but I will, by saying that I think that this might be the single greatest question that we have ever received in 133 episodes of the Cutie Art Crusaders.
Well, this is definitely the most serious question that we've ever gotten.
And I mean, I think it's deep. I think it's introspective.
It has substance you can just grab onto.
It's a full, well-rounded question, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, it's it really is like it's really an existential question, I think, and it's kind of what's the term for a question that doesn't really have an answer?
Open-ended.
A hypothetical.
No,
question?
this
No.
starts with
A two-ended butt question.
no, it starts with an R, but whatever.
Rhetorical.
It's a rhetorical question. Like it's rhetorical. It's historical. It really is. So I mean, thank you so much for sending in this question.
This
Great
is a
question.
deep, intrinsic question, man.
Thanks so much for sending it in. So yeah. Do we want to move on to plugs?
But I just have a little
No.
confession. I actually put this question in there because I made it up. So I'm happy that you said all these nice things about me.
That's what I was just gonna ask. I was gonna be like, who the hell is the butt lord? Like,
It's me.
You're a butt lord. I'm a butt lord. Is the butt lord like the friggin' muffin man? Like, who's the muffin man? Like, who's the goddamn butt lord?
We're all the butt lord.
I have a confession to make. I've been the butt lord this entire time.
I also have a confession to make. This question is going to haunt me for the rest of my life.
How are you going to
Because
I've already had nightmares and before I even knew it existed.
yeah, no, only because I know that I will never have an answer for it.
We will truly. I don't think we will truly ever be able to appreciate the magnitude of this question. Like,
Burned could appease the butt lord, if you know what I mean.
I think if you set, you made a team of the greatest philosophers of our time, and you put them together in a room,
Socrates.
they wouldn't be able to solve this, and I think that really speaks to the complexity of human and horse cohabitation. Thoughts?
I'd
Bernd?
like.
You guys know that it's a saying in Warhammer that the Death Knights, I think, do, where they go blood for the blood god. You know that saying?
Butts for the butt god?
That's what I get right there. Just like butts for the butt god. And it's just a bunch of dudes in huge armor twerking.
Wow.
Hold on.
We've stepped into Burns fantasy land for a second.
This is my headcanon. I can feel the fanfics.
I apologize for this question now.
So Atmo, I have to admit, like, I have a newfound respect for your philosophical
I wish you
nature.
guys could have seen Gravity Falls, but hopefully our viewers will know this reference. Like, Atmospark is like Zeus from Gravity Falls. Like, there's more to his deep intrinsicness than we know.
Guys, I don't think you're quite grasping the magnitude. I mean, like, forget all of the other discoveries we've made in the last decade or so. Higgs boson? No. Higgs Butson right here, okay? Like, this is the God question, okay? This is God tier. If this was in any video game, it would be OP and banned from every single tournament. If this was Smash, this would be the Fox only question. Like, if this was Hearthstone, this would be Undertaker. Nobody's gonna get that reference. I don't care. I thought it was funny.
Somewhere out there, some Hearthstone player is like, oh man, that was a good one. Yeah.
Undertaker is OP.
Christ.
Literally dozens of you.
So, I mean, like, I don't know. I might just never live again after this. I think I've transcended into some sort of butt nirvana.
Have I ruined the questions now? I'm sorry.
You realize that this was supposed to be the ultimate question. Like, you should have saved this for when the CIC ends.
Right.
Like we can't go on now.
It really is just like, it's all downhill from here, folks. Like, it really, like, we were in this hot air balloon floating up in the sky, and then someone farted, and we're just on a slow descent down now. We're stuck in a hot air balloon full of fart.
But farts are hot air, so wouldn't we just ascend like a little bit?
This is a sad moment in Cutie Art Crusaders because the show can literally never get better than this.
Exactly. We've reached the pinnacle.
We've reached a butt nirvana, if you will. Buttvana.
I'm impressed that we were able to keep up this level of sarcasm for 5 minutes. That was good.
What are you talking about? Like,
good.
this is a completely serious
No, I don't
topic
think you
here,
understand.
man.
That last bit was sarcastic. The bit about sarcasm was sarcastic. So
Yeah. Well, bravo,
almost as
bravo.
deep as the question itself, you know? I mean,
Too deep
really.
for
I'm
me.
so done with this question.
Burned is officially out. He's back down.
God, I love you, Bird. That was fantastic.
Okay,
I'm gonna do
to
plugs.
answer the question, in order for me to express my buddiness, I would do 10 squats.
Speaking of butts, let's do the plugs.
Yes.
What? No!
Yes, move on.
What? Come on! It was so subtle.
Oh my god! Wow.
So,
all right, wait. Now we've reached the pinnacle. It's all downhill from now.
I'm gonna put this on YouTube.
Oh my god, jokes for the joke lord.
Yep. All right, so
Plugs for the plug lord.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a DeviantArt account, which is Cutie Art Crusaders at deviantbot.com. We have a Gmail, which is cutieartcrusaders at gmail.com. We have Tumblr, which is cutieartcrusaders at tumblr.com. We have a Twitter, which is at cutieartcrusade. We also have a Picarto. Google us to find that because Picarto links are silly. What else we got? We got other stuff too. Facebook. We're on the Facebook. We are Cutie Art Crusade on the Buttbook.
Yep. We have like 350 likes. Yay.
Keep going.
You should do a like us. Yeah.
Like us
getting
more.
like one a day.
Too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think Meti Bobo is just gonna have a heart attack?
Meti Bobo?
Yes.
Yep.
Why, is he like butts or something? Butt guy?
Oh boy. I should show you some fan art. All right. Well, that is everything for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed what is most certainly the peak of Cutie Art Crusaders. So, yeah, this is gonna be a long. We're gonna drag this out for as long as possible and just really just scrape our nails against the grindstone here. But we hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that you enjoy this episode. I'm.
Are you broken? We broke you again.
I mean, when it comes to butts, it's not hard to break me.
So, thank you for watching. Whether you're on YouTube or live stream, we butt you all the same.
That was it's live stream.
My name is
and it's not live stream anymore. We should really say Picarto.tv.
Oh, we should. Can I do the outro with Picarto now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we hope you enjoyed the episode, whether or not you're on Picarto or the YouTube page. God, I screwed it up.
Yeah, I do it again. You should do it again. We're gonna listen to you until you get it right.
No,
come on.
Take two.
We'll do it live. All right. Thank you guys for watching, whether or not you're on Picarto or you. What?
You suck.
Okay, live stream.
Ooh.
Wow. Wait, sorry. How do I say it normally? I've lost it. Whether or not you're on the live stream or YouTube. All right.
Whether on YouTube or the live stream.
No, it's not. Whether or not you're on Picarto or YouTube, we love you all the same. My name is Rainbow Plasma.
My name's Burn01.
I'm Fluttery317.
And I'm Buttball Spark.
Praise the butt god, and we'll see you guys next butt.
Bye.
When did we sell our souls, guys?
Long time ago.
Butts for the butt god. Butts for the butt god. Butts for the butt god.